I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Fall River School Committee for April 17th, 2025. Deb, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Aguirre?
Here.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Dias?
Here.
Mr. Corey?
Here.
Ms. Larrabee?
Here.
Ms. Pereira?
Here.
Mayor Coogan?
Here. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No citizens input tonight, Deb?
No.
Ready?
We have a request to go into executive session.
Make a motion to enter executive session.
Second with a question.
What's the question, Mr. Dias?
Actually, a statement. So I will not be voting to go into executive session tonight. The reasons are because, one, I believe we could be in violation of the open meeting law. The topic listed is too vague. I believe we could have given more information on the agenda without compromising the purpose of the executive session. Two, I believe that we could have used other purposes as well, such as Purpose 4 and Purpose 10, and only using Purpose 5 restrains what we can discuss. If we are found in violation of the open meeting law relative to the executive session, our minutes automatically become open. Three, I believe there is much discussion that should be held in open session. We should have held an open session portion on this agenda. The public deserves to know if their data was compromised, what are the risks, and what the public is going to do with their money. And four, finally, I do not trust that the executive session will be leaked by the mayor. Members of this committee were told not to confirm a ransomware attack because that there is a risk that could delay the amount of time that sensitive information is in the hands of bad actors or increase the amount the taxpayers may have to pay for a ransom. Paul Kogan leaked classified information and the taxpayers may have to pay for it. And the mayor placed the sensitive information of students, staff, and others in jeopardy. I have no confidence in the school committee leadership, so I'm going to withdraw my second, and I'd like to make a motion that this school committee formally censor Paul Coogan for violations to the school committee ethics policy by disclosing classified information placed in the district at risk.
Okay. What was the classified information?
You disclosed a ransomware attack on the district
I disclosed it.
to NBC 10, yes.
That was 10 days after it was already out in the news. It was released on the 7th, and there was nothing confidential in the email that Dr. Curley sent us. It's right here. I can read it. There's nothing that says
We were told
confidential.
about a cyber attack. I was instructed not to let the public know about a ransomware attack because there's a risk that could increase the ransom on the district.
I was never told that. Were you, neither was she? So I don't know what you're talking about.
I was told
Who
that.
told you that?
Superintendent.
Did you tell him that?
I did speak to him yesterday. I
Oh,
spoke
yesterday. Well,
to
that was
all
the
members
sec-
of the committee to make sure everybody was aware. I would agree. I wasn't. I had heard that there was some misinformation out there as to what we would be discussing in open session and executive session. So I contacted each member of the committee yesterday to make sure that everybody understood that we were going to be talking about the criminal misconduct associated with cybersecurity event. And at that time, when I spoke to Mr. Dias, I did tell him that we would be discussing some information that should not be shared with the public. And, so I didn't share it yesterday because I wanted to share it in executive session.
That's why we're going into executive session to discuss it. But I have the email you originally sent out on the 7th, and I did the show with Channel 10 on the 17th. And in that 10-day interim, no one told me anything was confidential. Did they tell you that? During that 10 days, did they tell you it was confidential?
Through you, Chair, to Superintendent, is there a risk of announcing there is a ransomware attack? Could that increase the risk of the
Mr. Dias,
ransom going up?
I think some of these questions
I think we
are
have-
things
Yeah,
that
let's
have
go-
to be
well, let's go.
discussed.
I did
in
make a
session.
motion for a censor on the topic.
Second question. Second with a question?
Mr. Aguirre.
Yeah. So I think Mr. Dias raises a valid point. We've all been told over and over here that we need to speak through the superintendent with one voice when things come up. But the mayor seems to think that he needs to be the answer and to tell everyone what's happening. And not, most times, and a lot of times, it's something that the superintendent has not even told us. The mayor has gone on record in public meetings, in public interviews, to talk about this particular situation with things that are just, quite frankly, I have no reason to believe that they're true as to how this happened or any of that stuff. So the purpose of us saying nothing, which would include the mayor and should include the mayor, should be to have what we're having now, is an executive session to discuss it, so we can all be on the same page with what happens. But when you want to go on interviews and say things that are not accurate, like as if you're speaking for the superintendent of schools and the school district, that is a problem, Mr. Mayor. The superintendent told me the same things that she told Mr. Dias. And I respect the superintendent for calling to say, this is what's happening, but we should not be saying things out in public until we can talk about this in executive session in the proper forum. That's the message that I received from the superintendent. After that, you chose to go on Channel 10 and divulge various things that are not, probably not even true, because I don't even know where you get half the things that you say sometimes. And we're going to find that out when we talk to the people that have been working on this. But the fact of the matter is, Mr. Mayor, is you need to stop going out publicly speaking for the school department.
Mr. Aguirre, you do not tell me what to do. I was not told what you said you were told. I would tell you the same thing, and I would tell the other gentlemen the same thing too, for their preponderance of just letting stuff go, whether it's on Facebook, emails, or whatever. I was told that no one had a problem with what I said 10 days after we released the initial email. I wasn't told not to talk to anybody, or I would have definitely followed the instructions. But my point is, I didn't say anything confidential or off the rails that wasn't already out in the public airways. If that's what the case is, I think we should vote on this censure right now, and we can get on with the meeting. I know these events make you guys feel better, and they help the district, but at the same time, I don't know what we're doing, so let's vote.
Well, I still have the floor. So on that same issue, you said in a radio interview that this came from emails. You divulged that it was human resource data.
No.
You divulged that you said that it was some sort of other information that we, as a school committee, have not been told any of this. So where did you get your information to say to a media outlet that it was based on an old email address, or that it was HR files and personal social security numbers and old data? Where did you get this information from?
I did not, Mr. Aguirre, you really do always play fast and loose. I did not say any of that stuff was out. I said it could be. It could have gone in through an old email. I don't know for sure. I said it could be personal stuff that people don't want out, whether it's a social security number, discipline, whatever. I didn't say it was, and I didn't. You can listen to the thing back.
The way that we can guarantee it doesn't is that you need to stop talking to them and let the superintendent do her job, and she can speak for the district, not you.
Let's vote on the censure. You ready for that? Deb, call the roll.
Mr. Aguirre?
Yes.
Oh,
What-
I'm
what
sorry,
is-
I'm sorry.
What is the
Ms. Ivey.
motion? What is the
Mr.
motion?
To censor the mayor, the chair of our school committee from talking about the school.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
current
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Dias?
Yes.
Mr. Corey?
No.
Ms. Larrabee?
No.
Ms. Pereira?
No.
Mayor Coogan?
No. Okay, on with the meeting.
So there's a motion on the table to enter
We need a
into
second
executive
to enter into
I have a
executive
motion, a
session.
second.
On the motion.
On the motion, Mr. Aguirre, please.
Mr. Dias mentioned 3 or 4 different areas that we could have actually gone into executive session for. I'd like to ask our attorney what his opinion is on that issue.
The attorney couldn't make it tonight. He was double booked. So we'll go with what he put on the agenda. Those questions, I'm sure Mr. Dias can forward on to him, and we can tackle them for the next meeting.
So my other concern is that, based on what's here, says we are going to, as a school committee, go into executive session to investigate charges of criminal misconduct or to consider the filing of criminal complaints. The other problem I have is that we do not have our attorney here at this special meeting to discuss this. We have an attorney, a paid full-time attorney, for a reason, so that the attorney can advise the school committee. How do we even schedule a meeting without the attorney? Did anyone call and say, when we all got questioned on whether we could make it, whether the attorney could make it, and if not, we should be having this meeting at another time? Why would we not have our attorney here for this kind of content? Can anybody answer whether he was checked to see if he could make this meeting before?
If we go into executive session, maybe we can discuss it a little further. I would do it with that in mind. My concern is we try to fix the issue that's in front of us.
But can anyone answer the question? Was Attorney Assad polled, like the school committee, to make sure he could be present? That's a yes or no. Anyone? We were all polled. Was Attorney Assad polled as well? Because it's important that the attorney is here for a meeting, especially with this topic. Can anyone verify that Attorney Assad was polled, whether he could make it or not? Anyone? Who is in charge of polling the members?
I got a date and I was told to show up, so I'll go with that, but I don't know what this is
Madam
gonna do.
Superintendent, do you know who was polled and how we were polled? Because I got a call polling myself saying I'm going to call on behalf of the superintendent. So I guess it's on you. Did Attorney Assad get polled?
Yes, we knew that he would not be here.
And we still chose to have this meeting?
Yes.
Without an attorney?
Yes.
It's important enough that we get to executive
And
session.
so we couldn't find a time when he could make it. It wasn't as important, I guess, to everybody else than to me that the attorney's here for this kind of content?
I'm not, it's
Yes,
not about
yeah.
disagreeing with you about having the attorney here. It was time sensitive,
We had to do it.
and this was the opportunity for the meeting, so that we could give 48 hours notice. Tomorrow's a holiday, then it becomes a weekend, holiday
So-
weekend, and it was time sensitive and could not wait until next week.
And there's no other time. And I guess my opinion is just different, that something this sensitive, we should have our attorney here. I'll leave it at that, I yield.
Mr.
We have a
Chair, on the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Pereira?
I believe Robert's rule says he has to let you all talk twice, then he can say stop. He chooses not to. That's on him.
Well, it's a second motion.
You let it happen all the time. That's on you. You can let him keep going. That's on you. I'm not the one with the gavel. What I will say is that my experience being in executive session over the last 3 years, the attorney gives us some advice, but he does not vote, right? So we don't need him in there to actually give him permission to do things or give the superintendent permission to do things such as maybe hire other entities and things that we have to do. So although I do agree it would be better if he was here, but he's not. But I also want to point out that it does upset me and bother me when questions like that are asked just for the camera. When you can make a statement, right? My colleague could have made a statement and said, I'm upset that our attorney isn't here. Instead, he says, I'd like to ask the attorney a question. Is he here? You know he wasn't here, Kevin, because when I walked in before the cameras were rolling, you were screaming and yelling in a library, hooting and hollering at the mayor, why are we here? Why are we here? You knew he wasn't here. I have no problem with you expecting and wanting him to be here. That I don't have a problem with. I have a problem with stupid questions that waste everybody's time. You've made your point. Mr. Dias has made his point. Neither of you think it's important we go into executive session. That's fine. We're going to vote. If my colleagues agree with you, then I go home earlier. If they don't, then we get work done. Shocking. Work done. I would like to get work done. Let's let the superintendent do her job. I believe I heard my colleague say that today. Right? The mayor shouldn't tell her what to do. I don't think any of my colleagues should either. Did the mayor speak incorrectly in his interview? I don't know. I was working. I didn't hear it. From what I hear, maybe not the best public speaker. But do I think that means I'm supposed to put tape over his mouth? No. He was the duly elected mayor of this community, whether you like him or not. And he's the chair of the school committee, whether you like it or not. So if you want to have a conversation with him and say, hey, be careful next time, don't say this, don't say that, that's fine. Have that conversation. We could have that conversation in executive session. And it would actually make us look a lot better than it does right now. Everybody, I've heard from my colleagues, this shouldn't be in executive session. We need to tell everybody. It could be that we need to tell. Then the mayor goes on the radio, answers questions. Why is he talking? I'm very confused. I don't know if you want people to have information, not have information. What I can tell you is I'm already aggravated, and we've been here for 15 minutes. Okay? Clearly, you two have something against the mayor. That's fine. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not involved in it. I don't want to be. I'm here to do this job. The superintendent told us we needed an emergency meeting. I lost 2 hours of overtime to come here to do my job because she told me it was important. So I'm going to go with it's important. I'm going to vote to go into executive session, and then I'm going to find out there why we're here. And if I was wrong to go in, then I'll be happy to say that. But this right here is a lot of nonsense. With that, I yield, and I don't have to say anything else. Because unlike my colleagues, I don't have to be the last person to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My colleague to my right actually somewhat made my point. My colleague to my right wants to discuss, please don't swear, Ms. Pereira.
I said shoot. Sir. Shoot, because my phone went off.
So my colleague to my right wants to have a conversation in executive session about what the mayor said, but specifically, we have to talk about, and I figured Attorney Assad would be here, so that's why
Point of
I'm waiting.
information, didn't
Yes.
say that. Don't want to talk about executive session. Said you could if you wanted to. I don't want to. Just point of clarification. Don't change my words. They're very clear.
We are tasked to only specifically discuss to investigate criminal charges of misconduct or to consider the filing of criminal complaints. So on that topic, we are constrained to talking about one item, which is something I wanted to ask Attorney Assad about. So questions on the motion, do we have, if anyone, whoever can answer the question, do we have an identified suspect who we are
Hey,
investigating?
whoa, come on. Hey. Can we please go into
Just looking
executive
for a yes or
session?
no.
No, that's not public information. Move the question. I have a motion to move the question. Motion is second.
Now the next motion, let's go.
On the motion to move the question.
Point of parliamentary
Agia?
inquiry, I did not cede the floor. Ms. Larrabee should have waited till she was called upon to make that motion. That was,
You're violating the rules by asking questions about potential issues that are going to be discussed in
Mayor,
executive
the only
session.
person who violated anything or disclosed
please.
anything was
Please.
yourself.
We have a,
I'm
mo-
the chair.
yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Aguirre?
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Aguirre.
Mr. Dias raised the point that he has to finish before we have the motion. That's the only thing I'm asking. Now, I would say,
He's saying
I would
things that
say,
are inappropriate.
no, so then you could say that that particular part's
I
out of
did,
order.
And he kept talking.
But what I'm saying is, you should say then that we're not going to discuss that type of stuff before he sees the floor, otherwise you can't have other motions.
Go ahead, Mr. Dias.
Thank you. And if the question I can't ask, even though I believe I can, just let me know. Can I ask what criminal statutes we're investigating? Does anyone have the answer? The point I'm trying to make here is we are constrained to one topic, and if we messed up without our attorney here, the minutes go public. The minutes can possibly go public if there's a complaint, if there's a request for the minutes, because we have to be on top of these things when we go into executive session. And what I was, to my colleague to my right, I don't believe there are certain things, and again, I trust the superintendent when she told us there are certain things in here that need to be discussed, but there are also certain things I would love to have seen, as I said before, in an open session item for this, so either superintendent can give a statement to the public, or we can discuss some of these items in public, because the public doesn't have a right to know if their data is being leaked, or if anything like that, or how much we might have to use of our public money. So I think those are very valid questions, and we should be very careful. When the superintendent says we shouldn't disclose something, we all have to follow that, not just the chairman. I'm ready to vote.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Aguirre.
Yeah, so two things. One is, I found out at 5:10 that Attorney Assad was not going to be here. So that did upset me absolutely, because I did not know he wasn't going to be here. I'll still stand by the fact that we should have our attorney here, without question. The other thing I think needs to be said publicly is that this particular executive session item agenda is in order to get in to discuss things. But I think we need to say, for the edification of the public, that this entire executive session is related to the cyber security attack, period. So that people don't start making their own judgments or wondering or, make their own narrative. This particular item has to do with cyber attack, and that's it. So I don't want people to get out there and start to wonder and start questioning when they see this. Oh, who's getting involved criminally and all this other stuff. This is the cyber attack for the public's edification, and that, in my opinion, is all that we should be saying. With that, I yield. Thank you.
Can we get a vote to go into executive session?
There's a motion.
To go into
Roll
executive
call.
session? Yeah.
Mr. Aguirre?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Dias?
No.
Mr. Corey?
Yes.
Ms. Larrabee?
Yes.
Ms. Pereira? Yes. Mayor Coogan?
Yes, executive session. back in regular session.
Mr.
Deb, please
Ag-
call the roll.
Mr. Agia?
Here.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Dias?
Here.
Mr. Corey?
Here.
Ms. Larrabee?
Here,
Ms. Pereira?
Here.
Mayor Coogan?
make a motion.
Here.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Deb, call the roll,
Mr.
please.
Chair?
Mr. Dias?
Thank you. I just wanted to ask if there's any statement, I know we have to be careful, but if there's any statement we can give the public?
Not
She
at
just
this
said
time.
she's doing it, yeah.
Okay.
Deb,
Deb.
call the roll. on
Mr.
adjourn.
Agia?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey? Mr. Dias?
Yes.
Mr. Corey?
Yep.
Ms. Larrabee?
Yes.
Ms. Pereira?
Yes.
Mayor Coogan? Mayor Coogan?
Yes, adjourned.